Are you?
Yeah. There's a fire boot down here.
Car boot? I haven't heard anything, unless why is it meant to be? Oh, it's camera there. Oh, didn't see you there. It's Tom said, that's me, that is. And what a special day today is. It's my birthday. And I won't tell you how old I am, but the year I was born, it was 22 days after Tony Blair got in with Labour into the, into the head of Parliament. So you might work out how old I am. But oh, there's a Tesla thing here. I've just walked out of Ramada Hotel after spending a lovely night in a lovely room with a lovely shower. It's all very clean and nice staff. And I've just checked out now, and I'm very intrigued by these in the car park. We've turned up in an MG ZR today, what's combustion engine. But in the car park at Ramada's, very high tech, they've got 13 Tesla charging points. And they're very interesting because I don't mind a Tesla actually, even though I like my combustion engines. A Tesla, a very clever machine. But one day I want to have a big classic car with a Tesla motor in and plug it in here, and all these new owners be looking at me in disgust. But it might be different by then. We might all have old cars with electric motors in, and people won't be buying new ones, they'll be buying old, keeping them going. Because classic cars are dying, but we need to keep them from not dying. So that's the way forward, that is. But it's not the main reason why I'm here. We're not on a car topic today. We're here because I'm going to take you to the magical kingdom of Camelot. So come with me. Well, this is the magical kingdom of Camelot, and it's just a flat piece of tarmac now. In 2021, they've destroyed all of it. But Camelot, for anyone that doesn't know, is a theme park that opened in 1983 and lasted all the way up to 2012. Not long ago, about 9 years ago. And it was a theme park with lots of roller coasters, water slides, log flume, all sorts of stuff. But what was the main sort of attraction of Camelot was it was based on medieval stuff, and knights and jousting, and that was the main pull of it. It got to a stage where it wasn't pulling in as much. It was theme parks weren't like, if you think of theme parks, you think of Alton Tower and that kind of place. But with Camelot, it was the same, but it never appealed in the end. It was, the numbers were coming down and down and down and down, and it ended up being an abandoned place, and Urban X's it was famous. And as you can see from behind me, the security man's coming out to have a word with these people over here about riding their bikes on the big rocks. And that's what Camelot is now, is security guards telling people to clear off even when it's on the car park. Originally it was people getting in and destroying it, but people were documenting it, you know, and filming all it's like, because for a long time up to 2020 Camelot had loads of buildings on it. Even in 2014 you could get into this place very easy, and myself, Thomas Edward went in 2014 when the fence was down. Me and a family member and a big family walked in one day and we had a look, but unfortunately I didn't get any photos. That was pretty much the end of it. After 2014 all the way up to now it got destroyed, arsonists, people nicking stuff. What the main focus was, Camelot had Knightmere on it, it was a big roller coaster. And it was a big landmark what you could always see off the M6, and they were very worried about scrap thieves nicking it and people climbing up it and falling off and dying, you know, very health and safety. So the security guards were always a bit iffy with you, but from today they're actually still a bit iffy. And he's bringing out his walk rally now, look, he's got a big dog. So I think we're best clear off with Thomas Edward and go around the back, because I think they're very wary now because they've got diggers and big machines, and security guards are not the best people in the world, because they're a bit like people who fail in the police force. They go and be a security guard and say he's got his dog. See, we're witnessing a bit of intimidation there with a dog. You know, I don't think that's entirely right in certain manners to get a big dog like that and mark your presence with a dog. It's a bit of a slimy trick that is, to bring that dog out, especially when these lads here with his kids are just only riding on the bike on these big rocks. They're not doing no harm, but look, big dog there, you know, I'll let this dog off here if you don't clear off my land. That's what it's like today, you know, it's still happening. All these years later, and all the roller coaster and all the buildings have gone. There's not much left in there, but you've still got a big dog there and two security men saying, oh, you can't come in here. So I think it's best time we cleared off. Right, a bit more safety now from those two security guards, a man and a woman with a big dog. It was well out of order, I tell you, I really tell you, well out of order. You know, there was lads, but they had children with them. They were a young family. They had a little girl, about 4, and they were a big dog. And they were telling them that they were damaging the rocks with their bikes. And the lads just said to us, but we were nowhere near the premises. They should put the fences further away, you know. But the security guards get really touchy. As soon as you start doing something, oh, and you get very, very etchy, and you start ringing 999 eventually. You always see that happen. But we'll come down here out the way. You know, don't give them any bother. But sometimes the high vis gives you a bit more authority. They think you're someone who's spying on them. You know, we could be there from their head team spying on their skills. So high vis is low vis. So, you know, keep with TE and you'll learn something. So always put your high vis on if you're coming anywhere like this. So we just come around the corner here, and behind me here was the go-kart track for Camelot. And I should say, I was going to say early up there, but we'd lost chance. So in there you can actually see where the track was, and the bit where it's not overgrown, that was the go-karting track. And many moons ago, through those trees, you'd be able to see the castle on Camelot. What was good thing about Camelot is I never went as a kid, because I wasn't really into fun fairs. It wasn't my thing. Even Alton Towers I've never been to, but I know about it. But the thing I saw as a kid is, when I was a kid, I was really into Sooty and Sweep, and I always had VHSs of reruns of Sooty and Co. when he had a shop in Manchester. And Sooty and Co, Sooty and Sweep, and Scampy and Sue came to Camelot on a bus, and I'll show you some footage now of them coming here.
So good old Auntie Connie the caretaker has saved the day. Here she is, showing us around some of the attractions in Camelot.
And but it was a well sort of documented place, really. Are you?
There's a car boot down there, yeah?
Car boot? I haven't heard anything. Why is it meant to be? Yeah. Apparently, it's a car boot. I could have spent a bit of TE money and found a bit of merchandise, but that's a disappointment. Anyway. So Sutton Sweep came here, but it was a well-documented place. You know, this 1983 to 2012, you would have thought, oh, when it was in its heyday, it wouldn't be documented. But in the 90s, quite a lot of people came here with money, with actually big cameras, and actually filmed quite a lot of the rides. You know, all the way through the 90s and even into the 2000s. The last few days of Camelot opened, there was people filming it with like very early vlogs. You know, it's quite a well-documented place. And behind me is a very big swimming, boating, not permitted on this lake. Well, there's a lake with a hotel, what's called a Best Western now. It's called a Best Western now, but it used to be Park Hall Hotel. Because this is Park Hall Road up here, behind camera, all around here. And the hotel used to be, a bit of a, today you would go on a package holiday to Spain. Back then you go on a package holiday to Charnock Richards, not far from Chorley, in that hotel. And your holiday destination and fun would be behind that fence in Camelot, watching nights and going on roller coasters. And like I said in a recent Tom and Said video, Earth reclaims itself. Doesn't take long, but all that's grown up in the last 9 years, and it's hardly anything recognisable. When we came in 2014, it was still fairly trodden, but obviously it was well trodden because urban explorers were going in it, and it was making it a bit more trodden. But you could still see the layout of it. You know, that's what I'm trying to say. But now it's very hard to see. Apart from, I'm maybe put some drone footage in now. Maybe if we can get hold of some. Camelot, that was the theme, medieval, King Arthur, knights, the knights table, you know, and that was the theme. But obviously, when it got into the millennium years, obviously medieval wasn't the kids' imagination. That's why the visitors dropped, and it went into, but also it had a lot of history, Camelot, of bad owners but not marketing it right. And apparently it was very expensive for what it was, and food wasn't great. It went very downhill. Granada owned it for a while, and then so another company owned it, and then who owns it today, who wants to build, what I'll tell you in a minute what wants to build, and it's a story. But let's go and have a look before I tell you too much information. So I just walked round the corner here a bit, and this is the Best Western Park Hall Hotel and Leisure Club. have a pool in there and a gym and stuff. But from recent times, it's actually shut and hasn't reopened. And we were talking to the Ramada hotel staff at the services last night, and there's no news to say it's going to reopen, but there's no news that it's shut. So it's I don't know what's happening, but it's all sort of boarded up, and the back windows are boarded up on it. So I don't know if it's shut altogether, or is it just in a holding area while they work out what they're going to do with it, and put some money back into it. So yeah, it's a bit quiet at the moment. Everything's seeming a bit derelict, but there's still a bit of upkeep. The grass is cut, and it's well trimmed little garden in there. So I think they've still got a bit of groundsman keeping it like it's still open, but actually it isn't open. But so it might be just keeping it ticking over, like I say, till they open it. And I'll show you an advert now of a dinosaur coming out of a bathroom and then looking across the Camelot.
Make your visit to Camelot Theme Park even more magical. Stay at our hotel. Call 01257 455 000.
Just having a look through there, you can still see King Arthur's seat through there, and he's jousting where he jousts, and the Black Knight would be in there with all his muscle and his big jousting thing with his horse, riding up and down. And just under his ear would be where the stands where the people would sit, and then actually more towards this fence is where the famous diesel-powered, I think there's only 2 ever made, of the Dragon Flyer, what used to go right round the edge of the park. That actually went and ended up in South Park apparently, but the track only got ripped up very recently, but the actual wagons and stuff went to Southport in Lancashire. Apparently the guy in Southport actually bought quite a lot of Camelot. It was originally, the plan was the big Knightmere roller coaster, what isn't there anymore, what got ripped down early this year, or was it last year, I can't quite remember now. That was meant to go to Southport, but it never got there, it just never got there. I think it was too much of a task to pull it down and put it up in Southport. But it actually, Knightmere was quite a famous ride. It came from Japan, somewhere like that. And it was a big ride. I think it was an indoor ride, and it came from Japan, and Camelot got it, and it was one of the biggest rides they ever had. They did have a roller coaster before, but it wasn't quite as big as Knightmere, and it had a little train on it what went round, and apparently it did 5Gs. And anyone to the modern generation, 5G isn't a Wi-Fi network. 5G is the force, what it's throwing you around. It's like airplanes. When you're in an airplane, it's the force. And the stuff when your eyes go to the top of your head and your blood goes to the top of your head, it's the force of being in a plane. Factual interlude with TE, that was. What I was saying earlier on, all this Harris fencing around the back, people have been snipping it over the years when urban X's, and this is the main target on the back where people would get in. And even last night, we saw that security on the front with a big dog. Last night we came and did a recce before we went to bed and walked around the perimeter to see what it was like since we came in 2014, and there was some young gentleman in there with a big Bluetooth speaker playing a bit of I think it was Club Classic, something like that, and they were down in the bottom, you could hear them. But when we turned up, they made it quiet, like we looked like security. So obviously the security weren't on the game last night, but they were on the game today, you see, in the daylight. Obviously they're a bit scared in the night time because those lads were in there and they didn't have the dog out last night. They were just slacking on the job, Should be writing to them their thing and say, oh, you're not doing a very good job here. But anyway, we won't go into that. I'm not going to grass anyone up. That could have been opened if they'd stuck it out, or they could have made it into something different. Like we always say in the family that if we had made a bit of cash, like serious cash, or if we were making 12 million a year or something daft like that, maybe more, I should say, we could buy it and turn it into an attraction, not like a theme park attraction, but attraction to put classic cars, food markets, tractor engine rallies. We put 15-inch gauge railway around it, or we could even put a 2-foot gauge railway around it. We could do a lot with that. But no, Story, who owns it now, who do Story Rail. They're part of Stobart, you know, they're sort of a subdivision. They own all sorts of stuff, Story do. Story own it now, and they did own it when it was a theme park. And Story want to, I think probably the initial plan of actually buying it in the first place, is they want to put, the original plan was 6,000 homes they wanted to put on there. And obviously 6,000 homes is quite a lot. And Chorley Council went, no, you can get on your bike and clear off, you can't put 6,000 homes. That's why it was abandoned for such a long time, because they've been fighting over trying to build houses on here. And I think the new plan is to put about 200 houses on it. I don't know what's happening. They're clearing it out slowly, so something's happening. They're getting it ready for something, but we'll see. We'll keep an eye on it and see what happens. But probably some of you guys out there might know, so comment below if you know anything new than that. You know, but that's what I've read. So behind me here, a lot of these sheds were maintenance sheds when they would have lawnmowers and a lot of stuff, spare bulbs and all sorts of tools to keep it running was sort of in here. But behind there, behind those trees, was Knightmere. The big roller coasters behind there. And I'm a kind of person who, when we're on the motorway, I watch out the car. I don't get bored. I always watch out the car and look at the scenery and look at cars. And one of the classic landmarks was to look out for Knightmere, because you could see it from the motorway. And about 8 years ago, you could still see a sign, because obviously it wasn't been shut that long, but it said Camelot, and it was the next turning and you get off, but they took it down. And that's, you know, it was here. It's all gone. It's all gone, and it's just wreck and ruin and sadness, pretty much. There's no words to describe how a derelict theme park sort of gives the atmosphere of sadness. It's a very strange place, really. You know, it's just very sad. I can't really explain. You know, I think there's no words to describe how much a place can go from so much happiness to so much sadness. It's like seeing a classic car in a scrapyard. That enjoyment just goes and it rots into the ground and Earth reclaims it, and that's pretty much what's happened there. It's a bit of a shame, really. I like these barns though. I could make a few nice TE car garages around the back of it. We could have TE's Empire, you know, in there. Have a few Ed China moments, you know, and fix car. Anyway, I'm digressing here. But it would be good in there. We could actually make a stack load of cash. TE, Thomas Edward, buy Camelot ground and turn it into the Thomas Edward amusement park, but amusement park what would be very interesting. You know, we have a bit of showbiz, we could have live bands, railway cars, all sorts of stuff. Very showbiz. We could even have a theatre on it. You know, that'd be cool, wouldn't it? And it could have me on the gate with my thumbs up and my flat cap and my high vis and say, "Welcome to Thomas Edward's amusement park. Next left," something like that. You know, something daft. But it would be good, wouldn't it? But anyway, that's all you can really see, folks. Wow, check it out. John and Jamie, Park Hall Hotels, double act. Great guys, friends and colleagues. Wow, a bit of showbiz on here on this seat. We're in Park Hall Hotels Enchanted Garden. It actually looks like it's had a recent cut, so they keep it on top, and there's some nice metal flowers here to my left. And I think that concludes another Thomas Edward TE special looking at Camelot Theme Park and its enchanted wilderness. What is today, it doesn't really exist apart from the enchantment of the two guys on the gate. But that's another story. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video of Thomas Edward, and I hope you learnt something, or I bet you're typing now about your memories of Camelot, or you always wanted to go, or you might have even urban explored it when it was all abandoned. I bet there's a few of you out there has been in. So comment below, give me a like, big like, thumbs up for TE, and give us a subscribe. Keep it going up to 1,000 subscribers, and by the time you watch this, will be an exciting video gone out last Monday about something about future showbiz happening on the channel. And make sure to click that big bell. Ding!
Greetings, children and gentlefolk. I'm Puff Dragon, but please do not be afraid. I'm the most gentle-hearted and polite of all the dragons, and I truly welcome you all to the magical kingdom of Camelot, where dwells the most gallant and kindly king